Good day, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to New Moon Manifesting. I am Jana Grosskopf, and I'm going to be guiding you through how to navigate this Libra new moon and make the most of it so you can manifest your hopes and dreams. And it's been a really interesting time. I've recently moved, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how I manifested this move because it was very untraditional. And I love teaching people about manifesting, and I've worked with the lunar cycles and talked about them for the last 14 years on this program. And we're actually going to be shifting gears into a new manifesting program to actually help you stay on track more effectively. So I want to talk a little bit about this Libra new moon. Let me pop up some slides. Welcome everyone who's popping in. So this Libra new moon is actually taking place tonight at 5:54 p.m. on the East Coast and 2:54 on the West Coast where I am. So just adjust for your time zone. And it's really great to set your intentions close to when the new moon is. You have about 2.5 days when we are actually in the new moon period. So if you don't get to it today, make sure you're doing it in the next day or two. Journaling is a great way just to get your thoughts down on paper. And with Libra being an air sign, you may have a lot of those. Plus, we've got just a flurry of information going on with so many planets retrograde. So the characteristics of Libra is all about restoring balance. It's the seventh sign in the zodiac. So we're halfway through the astrology year. I know, kind of shocking, right? And obviously we're getting really close to the end of the calendar year. So this new moon is about how you relate to other people. It's finding that balance between your personal needs and the needs of the relationship or the partnership. So just be aware of what's taking place, any relationships that are out of balance, any places where you've given your power away, or you are not necessarily holding solid boundaries. Just kind of notice what's taking place and reel yourself back in so that you are being true to you. And we have some actual planetary support in that particular area, and I'll show that in a minute. So Libra is about creating order and harmony. If there's any discord in your life, this is a great time to have one of those, difficult conversations, or just having a conversation where you get to express your truth. And keep in mind, Mercury is retrograde, so choose your words wisely. Make sure that the other person is hearing you correctly, maybe by them repeating what you've said, so that you're both on the same page. This new moon provides a sense of justice. So if there's any sorts of inequality in your life, or any places where you're feeling that there's not any fairness, that this is a good time to journal about it and then speak to particular people that may be involved in those imbalances so that you're bringing your life back into balance. It's about making sure that your oxygen mask is on first before you are giving too much of yourself away in relationships. And we have a lot of support with that. Let me see what I've got here. Fairness and justice, looking on the bright side, yes, reviewing, bringing in new hope for projects, new inspiration. Again, as an air sign, it's very mental, it's inspirational, it's witty, it's clever. You may have unique ways to solve problems. And we've also got Mercury supporting that too. So let's pop up a chart and we can look a little bit. It's important for you to pull your own astrology birth chart with transits so that you can see where all of these planetary influences are impacting you. So we have the sun and moon over here in Libra. These are taking place at 3 degrees of Libra. Now, this is the same point where the Cosmic Galactic Center. So we have our galactic center, which is just the Milky Way galaxy galactic center. And then there's the Cosmic Galactic Center. And that includes at least 30 galaxies that we are aware of. And so I'm seeing this as an opportunity to really open your minds, open your intuition. We're going to work on expanding the third eye so that you can receive pertinent downloads that are specific to you and what you need to do in moving forward. And I'll talk about how I manifested this place because it was purely on faith. And I'll talk about that in a minute. Anyway, we have the sun and moon in Libra at early degrees, 3 degrees. And right behind it, we have Mercury, which is retrograde right now at 27 degrees of Virgo. And then right next to that, we have Venus. So Mercury and Venus are diving into details, any minute details that need, their I's dotted and their T's crossed. That's going to be the energy. There may be specific strategies that you're coming up with that are supporting wherever you're going next. But there's a lot of details going on, tuning into the details that you love, tuning into, that would be the Venus energy. So just be mindful of where that's taking place. Now, as you can see, we have these planets all bunched together, and then almost all of the outer planets are over here. And so I pulled the exact chart because I like to see how the lines are, sort of the graphic that the lines are creating. And it's like everything is pointing to this galactic center, but we need to clear out all of the, misinformation, any limiting beliefs, any fears that we're holding on to. And those are all the outer planets that are supporting us. So opposite of the sun and moon, we have Jupiter. And as I mentioned, Libra is about relationships, but Aries, where Jupiter is about who am I, right? And Jupiter is all expanding, who am I in the world? Who am I in this relationship? And so there may be I'm literally hearing a crisis in identity or a shift in identity where maybe you've been playing a certain role or had a certain part in, this time of your life. And now you're shifting gears and you're having to let go of where you were at in the past so that you can expand into this new version of yourself. So be very mindful of what's coming up, recognizing that we go through periods of grief with grief doesn't just relate to death. It could be a death of a relationship. It could be a shift in a job. It could be, kids going to college, and now there's a shift in who you are as a mother and a woman and all of these other elements. So instead of looking at something as a death of something and going into the grief, looking at what my next step is, what am I growing and evolving into? And that's where that Libra is going to help you bring more balance into your life. Now, opposite of Mercury and Venus, we have Neptune. Now, Neptune is also retrograde, and Neptune helps you dive deep into all of the hidden elements of you. So your deepest, darkest fears. Neptune is in Pisces right now. So this could be coming up in dreams. It could be coming up in feeling imprisoned in some capacity, right? Where maybe you're feeling stuck. Maybe there's too much responsibility, or you're just feeling held back in some capacity. And with Venus and Mercury opposite of that, you may be seeing ways out. You may be having new details come to light that help you see the next step or help you overcome whatever challenges that you're facing. So those are two of the planets that are retrograde, and Mercury. So there's 3. We also have Saturn over here, who is retrograde in Aquarius, and it is at a square again with Uranus, who is also retrograde. So Uranus and Saturn were squaring off all of last year, probably for the last 18 months. And these two are breaking you out of old paradigms, top-down authority, any places where you're feeling restricted. It's Saturn is that authoritative parent. Are you sure that's the right way to go? Is that the right thing to do? So you're always sort of in your mind questioning, is this really the right thing to do? And Uranus is, breaking you free. It's the rebellion. It's the higher mind of God. It wants things to move forward into your highest capacity. So keep in mind with this square, you may be squaring off with even yourself. There's this inner authority of, oh, I should be doing this, but I want to be doing that. Now, I want you to tune into your heart's desires instead of the mental elements of Saturn and really tune into, well, what is it that I really do want? And when you can sort of dissect it in that capacity, you may be able to see how the Saturn energy has supported you in the past, but now it's time to look at things from a new perspective and be open to new opportunities. And then finally, we have Pluto. Pluto has been dancing around at the latter degrees of Capricorn, and it is also retrograde. Pluto is all about restoring your personal power, and it is at a trine with Uranus. So there's this kind of shakeup that's taking place where maybe you're reclaiming your power and you're feeling more confident, and that would be, the Taurus, the Taurus energy with Saturn, with Uranus and the North Node in there. So just recognize that all the outer planets plus Mercury are retrograde right now. So make sure that you are slowing down and you're reviewing any documentation that you've got to sign, you're revisiting any ideas and inspiration that you've had over the past 4 or 5 months. This is a great time to really slow down, reassess. Maybe you're seeing things in a different perspective and opening up to new ways of seeing things so that you can move forward with your highest good in perspective and in mind. Now, for this new moon, for this chart, it actually is taking place in the 7th house, which is typical for the Libra energy. But you're going to want to find out which house Libra is falling in for you so that you are aligning your goals with where yours is at. I'm trying to think, for me, mine is in my 3rd house. So I would look at this chart. This is about thinking and talking and speaking and networking, being diplomatic when I'm having these conversations, looking for fairness, being impartial in those conversations. So just make sure that you're looking at your birth chart. If you don't know how to pull your birth chart, I do have a short tutorial on my website, New Moon Manifesting, so that you can align your goals and intentions with this new moon so that you maximize it. Now, why is it important that we set our goals with the new moon? So the new moon is the point where there's no visible moon and the sun and moon are together, they're conjunct, right? So with that, the energy is very harmonious, it's very balanced, and versus with the full moon, when the sun and moon are opposite of each other, there's sort of this pull between one or the other. So it's a more harmonious time, typically a more peaceful time. It's an inward time where you can set your intentions. And since it is a new slate for the lunar cycle, you have that support of the sun and moon, which is the divine masculine and feminine, to help you actually manifest your goals into fruition. So as I've been talking about, for those of you who have been on here for a while with me, I'm looking at new ways to help people manifest more. And we are starting a new program on 10/10 on October 10th of 2022. Of course, I have to pull master numbers when I start a project because I just absolutely love a numerology. And it is called Move the Needle Mondays. So every single Monday, we meet at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And it's basically like a workshop / coaching session where you come and you strategize whatever your goals are for the week. I usually set 3 goals for the week. And then each day I have 3 action steps that I'm working towards each one of those goals. So it gives you the opportunity to actually the time and space to set your goals and intentions and your action steps so that you can achieve them. You will be able to, we'll share, depending on how many people there are, we'll have a couple people share their wins and successes, as well as any challenges that they're facing. Because I find that even when somebody is talking about either their wins or their challenges, that I learn something from whatever they're going through. And I find as a group that we attract people that are going through similar situations, or at least we're gleaning information from other people by participating. This weekly group helps you be accountable to you. Yes, the new moon calls are fantastic, but since they're once a month, sometimes it's easy to kind of fall off track and think, okay, well, I set that intention last month, but nothing happened. Well, the truth is, did you take action steps to make it happen? Because simply writing down your goal does not actually make it come to fruition. Sometimes it does. I'm not saying that there isn't room for miracles, but sometimes we actually need to take physical action steps to be successful. Think of it like going to the gym, right? Like if we set the new moon goals and we went to the gym that day for 8 hours, what kind of results do you think you're going to get? Well, you probably won't have much as far as results unless you consistently worked out, say 20 minutes a day, 3 or 4 times a week for the entire month. You're going to have more results than if you just worked out that one single day. We're also going to bring in energy work to help you overcome limiting beliefs and any fears that you're holding on to. So I'm seeing this as just a magnificent way of helping people manifest more. And I'll be getting out more details. Because of my move, I didn't get everything done that I wanted to get done. And I'll talk about that move in just a minute. So again, that will be taking place. It'll be starting on October 10th. It's a Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So self-care, self-love, I always have to bring this in just as a reminder. This doesn't have to be, self-care, self-love doesn't have to be something that, oh, I've got to go to go get a massage, once a week, or I've got to go get this done or that done. It can be 5 minutes a day, right? But just being very mindful by turning off the world, shutting your door if anyone is in your home and distracting you, and making sure that you take time for yourself, whether it's meditating or taking a bath or listening to something that's uplifting or some music or reading something that is inspiring, just doing something that helps you feel balanced on a daily basis. Even breathing specific breaths for 3 to 5 minutes can completely shift your physiology, your mood, and make you feel more balanced and comfortable in your life. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to actually feed the mind today. We're going to open up our third eye to receive cosmic downloads from this amazing cosmic, the conjunction with the Cosmic Galactic Center. So for essential oils, and I'm going to bring up Florence in just a minute because she has a great testimony about oils. Bergamot is a citrus oil that enhances feeling self-confident, boosting your self-worth. It's uplifting, it's energizing. Melissa helps clarify your mind. So I actually use Melissa quite a bit when I'm in meditation and I want to receive higher vibrating messages. I use it when I'm speaking because it helps you have a clearer train of thought. It also encourages you to align with your true self and to be true to yourself, right? Which would be that Jupiter in Aries energy right now. You want to be true to yourself so that you can get the most out of relationships that you're in. And then last, doTERRA's balance. Of course, with Libra, we need all the balance we can get. I love using balance, especially on the bottom of my feet. It's comprised of several tree oils, and it helps you feel grounded, connected, and restores that connection with yourself. So let me stop sharing here. And all right, my dear Florence, are you here?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Go ahead. Tell us what happened.
Okay. Well, as some of you may know, this last week we had doTERRA convention, and so I was there. And and then I flew home on Saturday night. Well, Sunday I had some kind of symptoms that were a little bit concerning, but I got through my day. And then Monday, I thought, oh boy, something's happening here. And so I did test positive for the CVID. And so was I scared? Yes, I was very scared. But I also knew I had tools to work with. And I'm in my 6th year of being with doTERRA. So I have been on the foundation system, which is the lifelong vitality vitamins all along. I've added a lot of different oils to my daily regimen each and every day, and I continue that. I have continued that. So I felt like I had a really strong foundation. So I'll back up 1 minute here. I'll try to keep this quick. So my backup is that I have asthma. I had a heart attack a year and a half ago. So and I'm 72. So I was clearly high risk. Now, also, and I know it might be controversial for some, but I chose to do the shots, and I did do 2 boosters along with all this. I had not got the new variant one yet because I'm not eligible yet quite for it. So backing up, I knew I had to do something because I didn't know. It was the fear. And I've talked about fear on this moon's time before. And I realized the fear is of the unknown for me. You know, what is this going to do to my lungs? What is it going to do to my heart? That was my scariest part. So on Tuesday, the second day, I added, if some of you might know about the Symphony of the Cells protocols, it's a layering of oils along the spine. And so in my case, because I'm by myself and I had nobody to do it for me, I did it on myself. So I did it on my feet, and then I put it on my back up to my mid back that I could reach. So I was applying. So I did the immune protocol. I did it twice that day. And the next day I did it again. And for me this was a progression. So I had the intense headache. I had sore neck. So I was using the deep blue stick on my neck for the soreness. And the headache, I was using some of the mint oils and stuff to kind of help alleviate. Then the next day, the third day, I could see that it was moving down into my chest. And then that's when I started to get really scared. And so then I brought out the breathe protocol from the Symphony of the Cells as well. And I did that on myself twice that day. And it just kind of sat there. And then on the next day, I started to develop a little bit of a cough. And then I was coughing at night, which that's my trigger for, I guess I could say asthma. And so I was getting a little bit nervous about it, but I just kept up all my routines, and I was drinking lots of water, putting electrolytes in as well. And then I don't know if many of you know about the new products that doTERRA released, but there is a product called MetaPower Advantage. And I had already started it at convention on Friday. So I could kind of see little bits of stuff happening, but I wasn't positive. And then I thought, do I keep doing this? Because I don't want to waste it, kind of thing. And then I thought to myself, the thing about the power of the MetaPower Advantage is that it helps heal the body from the inside out. And I thought, well, it can't hurt. It's got to be helpful. So I decided to go with it. So I began to feel, I gradually began to feel better. I never went into any kind of an asthma attack, that's what I was worried most about. My heart got a little wonky when it went into my respiratory, but then it settled down. And and now I'm well on my way to recovery. I'm testing very negative line. So I'm grateful for that. But I just believe the power of these oils, you guys, what we have is so amazing. And even when you don't feel 100%, you got to pull from them. You got to pull and use them the best way you know how. I recognized one thing yesterday. The whole time my tummy was like, kind of a little bit off, but I totally ignored my tummy. I didn't address it. So yesterday I thought, well, take the peppermint gel, soft gels, and game changer. So so there I did kind of like, I wasn't addressing my tummy. I was so worried about the chest and the heart that I went on to do this. So I'm ever so grateful for having these oils in our life. And, the oils that Jenna was talking about today are so powerful. Melissa, it was part of the Symphony of the Cells treatment. And I just put a drop or two under my tongue. I mean, I was still, vigilant about what I was doing. And so I'm so grateful to have these awesome oils to work with and the assurance that they're pure, like we all know. So
Wow.
that's my story. And kind of like what Jenna was saying earlier about slowing down. This actually was my slowdown, because coming off a convention, you are so high and want to share with the world. I had to slow down. And so I'm grateful. Right? Thank you, Jenna.
Oh, thank you, Florence, for sharing that. It just, you're right. When we don't, our biggest fear is the fear of the unknown. And when we do have a health concern, and then we do get sick with something that we don't know how our body's going to react to, it's such a gift to have tools at your fingertips that you don't have to call a doctor and say, hey, can I have some antibiotics or something, which if it's a virus, that doesn't even work, right? Because they can't, the antibiotics can't penetrate the cell wall to get into where the virus is that's replicating more cells with a virus in it. And so the oils actually do penetrate the cell wall, they get into the cell, and they help alleviate all the issues. And because it is nature, like, it knows what to do, right? Versus with a prescription medication, it's synthesized chemistry, and as such, our body doesn't often know what to do with it. And that's where we end up with side effects. So what a beautiful gift to, have that information at your fingertips. And if you do want more information, please reach out to me, and we can do a wellness consult to talk about what your health and wellness goals are and what, products could support you. Because when we are proactive with our health, we have everything, right? Like the person who has their health has everything, and the person who does not have their health, they'll pay millions of dollars to get healthy. And so whatever we can do now to prevent, future problems is really supporting us in the long run. And they do have some amazing, the whole MetaPower line is amazing. And it does talk about, it works with regulating blood sugar levels, and it works with optimizing your cells so that the aging process isn't going on. So there's some pretty amazing things that are going on with the MetaPower products and metabolism. So I also wanted to share a little bit about my manifesting story. So I lived in Central California on the coast in Pismo Beach for the past 10 years and had a beautiful house overlooking the ocean, and really was struggling when my landlord said, I need you to move out. And I was like, what? I live in this beautiful place, and I do not like renting. I've always owned homes, and I was surprised that I actually rented for as long as I did. So just in my mind, I was thinking, okay, where do I want to go? My kids are grown. One's in Phoenix, one's in Irvine. I can pretty much go wherever I want, but I want to be by water. I have to be by the water. And as I was searching for places, I sort of landed on Dana Point, Laguna area, which is Southern California. And the reason I did that is one of my daughters is 25 minutes away, so that's very close. And the other daughter would be 4.5, 5 hours away. I wanted Santa Barbara, but then I'd still have to go through LA to get down here. So first came the decision of where I was going to move, because before that, nothing was really opening up on, I looked at Seattle, I looked at Portland, I looked at a bunch of different places. So as I was preparing for the move, I had so much going on this summer. As many of you know, I published a book which went #1 on Amazon the first week in August. I was on my high school reunion committee, which took place the last weekend in August, and I was prepping for this move. So there was so much going on in August, and I knew I had to be out by October, worst case. But my higher self kept telling me, move in September. And I'm like, okay, but I've got all this stuff until basically the 28th of August. And I didn't want to, I could not find a place to rent prior to that. Like I had a place that I could land. It was an apartment. They would rent month to month. I could get a 7-month lease, which that was the other thing, is the universe told me, my higher self said, get a short-term lease. And I'm like, okay, but everybody wants long-term. And the place that wanted the 7-month lease was $1,000 more a month. So it was $3,600 more. I mean, it's $3,600 a month. I'm sorry, but I did not want to pay $3,600 a month in rent. I just don't want to do that. So going back to the universe, I get back from my high school reunion, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, look for a house. So I started looking for a house. This was the week before Labor Day. So I'm on Zillow, I'm looking at places. There's no way I can drive down here to look at a place because it's about a 5-hour drive. And Thursday, I found 3 places in this gated community. They're all condos. And I reached out to all 3 of property managers or owners, and only one of them did reach back out, and they said, no, only 12-month lease. I said, okay, we'll cross that one off the list. The other guy, he was actually the owner, and he said, I will consider it if I don't find any other candidates. And I told him I want a win-win situation, right? Like I don't want to put anybody out, but I also want to make sure that my needs are taken care of. So win-win situation for both of us. He keeps reaching out to me. I'm showing it to 3 more people, but you're still the front runner. I said, are you still willing to do a 6-month lease? He said, yes. And then he said, well, we're actually thinking of Airbnb-ing it. And I said, well, springtime, which would be March, when I would be moving out, would be the perfect time to do that. So since I can't come down here and my daughter was on her way up to see me, I FaceTimed with the guy. He has like 2% battery at the moment. So he's like running through the place, which is not a big place. And I knew it was going to be a small place, but I have big furniture. I have a very large dining room table and a large sofa and some other pieces. And I was just like, I hope my stuff fits. So I literally rented the place sight unseen. So by the time I signed the contract 4 days later, so it was the day after Labor Day, I signed the contract, and my daughter came down to look at the place. She was like, yeah, I think you'll like the place. It'll work well. I hope your furniture fits. So I signed the lease and I moved a week later, right? So short-term lease, which is what I wanted and needed, $1,000 less than what the other short-term lease would have been. Gated community and a garage. I had to have a garage because I don't like my car out. People, even in this gated community, people are stealing car parts. So, so I manifest all of that, and I'm just like, I pray that my furniture fits. I got my handyman and one of his workers to load the truck and to move me. And they got down here, and I actually had 2 other guys that helped unload. My furniture fits absolutely perfect. I mean, there's not a lot of walking room, but as I mentioned, this is a 6-month lease. So I've only unboxed maybe 6 or 8 boxes of stuff that I absolutely knew. So it'll be interesting to see where this journey takes me, because I committed to the 6-month lease. And even when I've told people you're only on a 6-month lease, I can feel their fear. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, not only like, oh, could you stay longer? And I said, that's not the point. The point is to get me out of here and to buy a place because I don't want to throw my money away on rent anymore. So as you're thinking about manifesting your goals, I want you to think about, the times when maybe you're trying to control the outcome or you have specific expectations of how things should be. I kept telling myself, I just trust that that my furniture is going to fit in these spaces. I just trust that this is going to work out. There's going to be a safe and secure location. And I trust that I'm, moving out in 6 months with this, whatever this next step is. So even though, the other thing my dad even said to me was, oh my gosh, so you're going to move twice within a year? And all I could say was, yeah, I don't say to him, well, the universe, told me to do a 6-month lease. Obviously, there's things that are getting set up that aren't ready, right? Whether it means that home prices come down or interest rates stabilize or whatever it is, like that stuff your higher self knows and we don't. So this is where the trust factor comes into play when we are manifesting our goals and dreams, that we don't have all the answers. And the more we can surrender is one of the greatest life skills we could have. So the more we can surrender to our higher self and trusting the process is going to work out, then the easier it's going to be. So I bring all of this up. I hope this has helped some of you in learning how to manifest more, because it isn't black and white, and it is a journey of faith that even as Florence was talking about, the fear of the unknown was, I don't know if my stuff's going to fit. I don't know if I'm going to like this place. And the other thing is, even though I had a beautiful place, I could hear my neighbors. And so I was concerned going into a condo where I had multiple walls that are common. And these places are so soundproof that I never hear anybody or anything. So it's kind of amazing. So, every day I'm just going through my list of gratitude, which is another big phase of manifesting, is just being grateful for how quiet it is, grateful that I have a garage to put my car in, grateful that my furniture fit, grateful that the timing all worked out. And this all took place in less than 10 days. Even though I was boxing and prepping, I was literally digging my ditches by boxing and prepping my stuff so it would be ready to go. And when the time came, everything was ready to go. So yeah, just kind of crazy, but I wanted to share that. So does anybody know where this new moon, back to the new moon, meanwhile, back at the program, do you know where this Libra new moon is falling? What house it's falling in for you? Cheryl looks at me like, nope. You do know where it is?
So I think, if I look at the sun, the moon is still in Virgo, but the sun is in.
The moon moves so quickly that sometimes when you pull a chart, I think the chart that I pull is from the UK. So you could actually pull it for the 26th if you wanted it close. But if you see where the sun is, the sun's only going to move. The sun is in,
so it's in the first house. It's in my first house. And there's a lot going on, and not the least of which is I also have tested positive through the home test for COVID, and am feeling, guilty as hell because I've been to CrossFit twice, and last night I was helping cater a wedding. I'm like, and the only symptom I have is I cannot smell my essential oils. This is a major crisis for me. Because they're my major source of emotional support right now. And there's this, little cough, but I mean, it certainly hasn't affected my endurance or anything else. So I'm out there looking at, and currently, health insurance is not an option for me. So it's not like I'm going to call a doctor. But, apparently I'm supposed to quarantine for 5 days, wear a mask until October 3rd. And they don't say anything about the sense of smell thing. I don't have a fever. I don't think I do. All right. That's how I check. Like, yeah, okay. Am I sweating? No. When I read, about the new moon in the first house, right? I'm supposed to be reinventing myself. Well, no shit, Sherlock. I'm like, yeah. It's just, I'm looking for a job. My car just got stolen. Now I've got, the sea. Like, Jesus, Mary and Joseph, really? I don't need, I call them AFCOs, another fucking growth opportunity. I'm sorry for my language, but that's where my head is right now. I'm done with AFCOs, like so done. But, as I read the little things about, all right, yeah, busy. I do feel energetic, semi-enthusiastic. Presentation, yeah, blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to be in the house for the next 5 days, which just, you might as well just shoot me now.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I know.
You'll be
But
fine. You'll be better than fine.
Isolation has not been working for me. I've been feeling isolated while I've been out of work, and so I'll figure it out. I know that.
Yeah, I think it's what I'm hearing is it is that opportunity to slow down and really disconnect from distractions, because it's easy.
Yes.
It's easy to get caught up into busyness and kind of like we're spinning our wheels, but we're not doing what we're supposed to do. So sometimes when we get sick, it is that whap upside of the head to be like, hey, yeah, you need to slow down and just, like listen to what's going on and within, instead of like busying yourself with other stuff.
Yeah. Well, that explains why I don't feel like cleaning my house.
Perfect. Don't do it.
I'm not gonna.
I'm sick. I can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's just it. I don't feel sick. I just, that's the rub for me. Like, I feel fine.
Yeah.
And that's the cognitive dissonance that I'm dealing with. So I will set my intentions for this new moon. I've already got my my 3 actions and a miracle.
Perfect.
And the miracle is home sweet sanctuary, which I guess, if I'm going to be here, I will just, create some sense of sanctuary. So
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not trying to laugh, but it's like, oh, your car's taken
Yeah, you
away
are.
from you. And now like all of this stuff keeps like reeling you back in. And you're like, no. I'm just going to keep going out there. And it's like, no. We're going to keep.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So, alrighty then.
Yeah, go with it.
I'm just going.
Thank you.
So thank you. Thank you for listening.
And Devin said this new moon is in your 5th house. So wow, balancing fun, right? Like you need to have more fun in your life, and maybe seeing places where you're overly serious, and playing with children, and just those types of things would be really beneficial for you, my dear.
Well, after hearing this last, because, I lost my car exactly a year ago, and then had that big family COVID thing that my niece and nephew are still like in the hospital dealing.
Oh, wow.
So, you talk about, I won't say staying at home has created less distraction. It just gives me new ways to find, kind of. But I would say that I've definitely been working on less distraction. I also may be moving, within a month to 6 weeks. So it could be sooner. But, it's like, I was kind of glad to hear some other sharing, because it's real easy to think it's just me,
Oh,
and
right. Yes.
with all the chaos, or every time an attempt to do something different just kind of gets pulled out. But I'm so glad Mercury's direct, and because having so much in Gemini, really, I feel it when all this retrograde's going on. So thanks for sharing.
Mars,
yours.
Mars is in Gemini right now, and it will be going retrograde in Gemini. So
In a few days. Yeah.
definitely,
Right.
yeah, definitely time to slow down and make sure that you're really honoring the inner world and what's taking place on that transformational level, because these outer planets are really causing us to look at ourselves from a completely different place, which is very uncomfortable, to kind of shake free of these old patterns and old ways of doing things and embracing something new. But we have to grow and evolve. So I just encourage you to really make sure that you're tuning into your inner energy and not the list of, like, oh, I've got to get all of this stuff done. And no. It's like,
Well, I
don't.
appreciate that permission, because I feel like I overly go that direction.
Right.
And I'm enjoying the retreat. I'm enjoying being in the middle of the woods, kind of alone. And I know that this is an opportunity that I wouldn't give myself in any other circumstance. And yet it's still a little bit hard when I really love, like, could spend most of the time doing personal inner work and meditation. So thank you for the permissions and the sharings, because it really helps to not feel like so
Just
out
me.
on the limb.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah, it definitely is a retreat period. So we just need to honor that. And whatever's going on, for some people, they may be highly productive, but for most people, it really is that slowing down and honoring it as a retreat, because we're going into eclipse season and that's going to be a busy time too. So we just need to make sure that we're preparing ourselves for other energies that are coming in. So I want to keep things going. Let's go into a meditation. And then after we come out, we can close out the call. And if anybody wants to stay on after that, I'll stop the recording. And if there are other questions, I can address those. So go ahead and find a comfortable place, either sitting up or lying down, just making sure that your torso is aligned. And let's begin with some breathing in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. And breathe in deeply all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, release any tension you're holding in your neck, your shoulders, maybe gently roll them, rolling your neck around. Just kind of letting go, maybe shaking out your arms a little bit. Breathing in deeply all the way down to the belly. And as you exhale, just feel all the tension releasing through the torso, through the legs, and the energy moving into the earth. You're in a place that is safe and you're protected. And just imagine that there's a bubble of white, iridescent light completely encircling you, holding a space of unconditional love. And we call in your ancestors, your guides, any other people on your invisible support system to gather around you. And they're linking arms and they're holding this space of unconditional love. And just feel your heart opening up, allowing yourself to receive. And if you don't know what that feels like, just tune into the space where your heart is and imagine this golden, yellow, white light within the center of your heart that is supporting you in burning away any fears, any walls that you've put up for safety and protection. That this is helping purify your physical body, cleansing and releasing anything that no longer serves you. And imagine there's a beautiful white gold light coming in through the crown of your head. It's connecting you with the sun, with the ethers, opening up a channel to receive divine cosmic guidance. And this energy is moving in to the pineal gland in the center of the brain. And just using your imagination, visualize that pineal gland opening up, lighting up, activating. Expanding the pineal gland to receive divine guidance and inspiration. That you're a clear channel receiving cosmic information that supports your growth, your evolution. Is supporting you in finding new solutions that create balance, harmony, fairness, and justice in your life. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. And to anchor this energy, just imagine that that energy from the pineal gland, that light is moving down through your face, through your throat, cleansing and purifying, opening and activating. It's moving down through your shoulders, your chest. And you're feeling this space of expansiveness as it moves through your body. It's lighting up every cell in your body, activating the receptors in each and every cell so that you receive divine guidance and inspiration. It's moving down through your torso, through your hips, through your legs, out through your feet, and moving down into the center of the earth, creating this channel of light from heaven to earth, connecting with Mother Earth, and then Mother Earth is amplifying that energy. And the energy is coming back up through the earth, back up through your feet, up your legs, into your torso, and bring that energy back into your heart. And this energy is active. It's like a conveyor belt moving through your body, cleansing and purifying, releasing anything that no longer serves you, releasing any viruses, shattering any viruses, any bacteria that are unwanted and unnecessary, any funguses, any other pathogens that are not for your highest good, that we ask that those be cleansed and purified from your system now. And just hold the space within your heart, holding this light, visualizing that it's dancing, radiating, energizing every cell of your body, supporting you in transforming old patterns, outdated mindsets, any limiting beliefs. And it's opening you up to receive the guidance, inspiration, clarity that as you're setting your intentions for the Libra new moon, that you are an open vessel in receiving inspired action, that you're receiving guidance on the right action steps to take to achieve your goals and dreams. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. And simply be present with where you're at now. Tuning in deeply, allowing the transformation with all the planets retrograde, that they're supporting you and transforming your mind, body, shifting you to be open to higher dimensional information and realities. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, release. Begin to bring yourself back into your physical body, wiggling your fingers, your toes, being present with your physical body, and express gratitude to your ancestors, your guides, and anyone else that's supporting you. Express gratitude to yourself for taking this time and honoring your divinity. And express gratitude to your higher self for the guidance and support that you receive on an ongoing basis. As you bring yourself out, you may want to write down any inspiration, any words of wisdom you received, any imagery that you had going on. And if you want to simply stay in this energy, you can simply exit out of the program now. And I look forward to seeing you in an upcoming new moon. And I hope to see you in our Move the Needle Monday program. I'm very excited for this. Until next time, my dears, namaste.